All right. Well, thank you for joining me for part two of this discussion on whole foods plant-based eating. So let's now turn our focus to some of the benefits of whole foods plant-based eating. And we began to discuss that to some extent in part one, but part two, we'll dive into it. So first off, we can expect greater longevity. One aspect of whole foods plant-based eating, we're literally flooding the body with micronutrients from foods. We're also removing many of the unhealthy foods that promote disease in the body. Again, the standard American diet kind of foods, the refined grains, the sugars, too many refined meats. So in doing that, we lower many of those risk markers for heart disease and diabetes. We'll see cholesterol values improve. We'll see blood pressure improve. We'll see triglycerides improve. Glucose control and diabetes risk reduces. We also see reduced risk for most cancers. And probably not a huge surprise, but whole foods plant-based eating is also good for the mind. So we'll see also reduces in risk for Alzheimer's disease and dementia, as eating plenty of fruits and vegetables really does support brain function and brain chemistry. Because of the great fiber content of a whole foods plant-based diet, we can expect improved gut health, improved digestion. We can also see improvements in the microbiome, all those beneficial flora that help support our health in so many ways are supported by the fiber content, the resistant starches within whole foods plant-based eating. Whole foods plant-based eating also aids in long-term weight management. We can expect better sleep quality, again, because of the improvement in brain chemistry that kind of governs our sleep-wake cycles. We can expect greater overall health, energy levels to improve, and overall quality of life for all these reasons. All right, so let's talk about nutrient density in foods and optimizing your diet. So nutrient density is a measurement of overall nutrient quality within food. So we can begin to use these measurements to make informed decisions about the food that we're eating. So Dr. Joel Fuhrman, who is an MD, created an index evaluating relative nutrient density of common foods. He called it the ANDI index, or Aggregate Nutrient Density Index. So it looks like this: health of food equals nutrients divided by the total calories in food. So it's an index that goes from 1,000 being the highest, most nutrient dense food to 1 being the lowest nutrient dense food. There are other nutrient density indexes like Dr. Fuhrman's as well. The CDC has one. The World Health Organization has a similar index. So they are becoming more popular as research really begins to dive into this concept of nutrient density. All right, so let's take a look at the ANDI scale. It may be difficult for you to make it out on your screen. I did include a link to this chart within the wellness portal near the quiz question on the wellness component for this presentation. So again, this is a highest score possible is 1,000 down to 1. So on the far left column, that's where you're going to see your most nutrient dense items. So pretty much all green leafy vegetables at the top all the way through the middle. Then you'll start to see items like other vegetables like carrots, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, bell peppers, and then down to some berries such as strawberries, sweet potatoes, blueberries. The middle column, you'll start to see more fruits like oranges and grapes and peaches and apples, for instance, as well as beginning to see legumes and beans work their way into the mix. Still pretty nutrient-dense foods. And then on the far right, that's where you will see your least nutrient-dense foods. And this is going to be where most of your meats are going to come into play, your dairy products. And then at the very bottom, you'll see a lot of standard American diet foods such as white bread, vanilla ice cream, corn chips, and cola. So, if you're someone who's concerned about the nutrient quality of your diet, you can certainly use the Andy Index to select more foods from that left column and that middle column to get the best bang for your buck with nutrient density. All right, so we're going to circle back around to longevity for a moment, particularly with blue zone cultures, as they provide a perfect case study for how lifestyle habits influence longevity over time. If you're not familiar with blue zone cultures, they are the 5 places in the world where people tend to live the longest, healthiest, and most content and happy lives. So, Okinawa, Japan, Sardinia, Italy, Nicoya, Costa Rica, Icaria, Greece, and Loma Linda, California. Interesting fact about blue zones, even though they're spread all over the globe, they tend to live very similar lifestyles. So let's look at some blue zone characteristics. Of particular interest with our discussion today, whole foods plant-based eating, all blue zones follow a pretty strict whole foods plant-based diet. So plenty of fruits and vegetables, beans, nuts, and seeds, whole grains, and relatively small amounts of animal proteins, mostly fish, from what is observed. They have the greatest longevity, the greatest percentage of centenarians, that is, individuals in their population over 100 years of age. And overall lifespans are 10 to 15 years on average longer than in the United States. They have some of the lowest rates of chronic disease on the globe, lower incidence of mental health issues, and have high levels of life satisfaction and happiness. So blue zone culture longevity isn't entirely due to their whole foods plant-based diet, but it certainly is a major contributing factor. Other interesting aspects about blue zone cultures is they tend to have active lifestyles. They tend to live in close-knit groups. So the social aspect of their societies is important. They tend to have good stress management strategies as well. So certainly taking some cues from blue zone cultures can absolutely help improve your longevity. So let's talk about strategies for going more whole foods plant-based in your life. So there's really not a magic bullet approach to this. It's really just about recognizing where these foods are most likely to flow into your meals and in your snacks, and really taking a proactive approach, setting some goals, and developing a well thought out plan for where these foods are going to come into play. One plan or strategy for getting more fruits and vegetables in your diet is called the Mayo Clinic 1-2-3 approach. And this, again, is just a pragmatic approach to visualizing your day and trying to incorporate more fruits and vegetables at specific times of your day. For instance, including one more serving with breakfast, 2 servings with lunch, and 3 servings between dinner and snacks. And we'll break that down between each meal and what that could look like. The Mayo Clinic 1-2-3 approach to breakfast. So that could look like adding potentially a smoothie in the mix with plenty of fruits and a handful of spinach. That could mean adding fruit into pancake, muffin, or waffle batter. That could mean topping your cereal or oatmeal with or yogurt with fruit, for instance. Adding vegetables to omelets, hash browns, and breakfast potatoes, or bringing a piece of fruit for a quick on-the-go breakfast. Now let's look at a potential 1-2-3 approach for getting more fruits and veggies into your lunch. You might, for instance, add extra vegetables to a regular sandwich or wrap that you might eat. You might have vegetable soup or veggies and hummus on the side of that sandwich or wrap. You can build a salad with at least 3 cups of leafy greens. You can add other vegetables and or fruit to that salad. You can use leftover vegetables from last night's dinner as a side salad with lunch. And you can top a baked potato with salsa, onions, peppers, avocado, lots of different ways to incorporate more vegetables into that meal. Let's take a look at the Mayo Clinic 1, 2, 3 approach to dinner time meals. So you might make a stir fry with plenty of extra vegetables. If you're grilling, you can grill vegetables and fruits to go along potentially with that chicken or fish or burger. You might add extra vegetables to pasta sauces, casseroles, and soups. You might steam, microwave, or roast vegetables for an easy side dish. You can certainly keep frozen canned vegetables on hand to easily add to meals. And you can incorporate fruit into your dessert. So let's look at some broader strategies for making your eating habits more whole foods, plant-based. So certainly you can begin to limit those highly refined food choices. If we can think back to the standard American diet type of options, these are going to be your white flour products, whether that's white bread, white pasta. You can begin to limit those snacky kind of foods, those crunchy snack foods or sweets, in favor of beginning to add more whole plant-based foods to the diet. You can make your grains whole whenever possible. So instead of white bread, you choose a good whole wheat or whole grain bread. Instead of a more highly refined cereal, you might choose a cereal that has plenty of whole grains in it. Brown rice instead of white rice. Whenever you're choosing grains, make sure that they're mostly whole grains whenever possible. You might include legumes or beans as a side or in recipes whenever possible. So legumes go great in a variety of different foods, whether you're making Mexican foods or Italian or Asian. Beans work wonderfully in a lot of different recipes. You can snack on peanuts, almonds, or walnuts. Add raisins or dried cranberries and make it a trail mix, for instance. You might choose a minimally processed snack bar option, such as a Larabar or a Kind bar. These have dried fruit and nuts and whole grains and are relatively healthy options. You might consider that smoothie again, because you can really incorporate a lot of healthy fruits and vegetables into a smoothie for a plant-based super snack. You can set a general goal and say, hey, I'm going to shoot for 5 servings daily of fruits and vegetables and make that your focus. You might include one big green salad every day and make that your focus, either as a side or as a standalone meal. So let's begin to wrap things up with this presentation. So in conclusion, I do want to stress again that whole foods plant-based eating doesn't necessarily mean you have to become a vegan or vegetarian. It's really about prioritizing those foods that bring us the most nutritional value, that being those whole plant-based foods, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, nuts, and seeds. So with that said, if you're looking to make changes with your diet, you should really try to get in touch with your why. So why do I want to do this? Is it about weight loss? Is it about improved health and happiness? Is it about medical concerns that I have? So get in touch with your why. That will provide motivation. Focus on the positive aspects of your lifestyle change first. We tend to get tied down with all the negative aspects of making a lifestyle change. So focus on what that lifestyle change is going to bring you. What are the potential barriers? We should definitely know the things that have the potential to hold us back so we can plan around them accordingly and still be successful. We want to plan ahead to be successful, know where these new foods are going to make their way into your diet. Make sure you have your pantry stocked with the right foods and your freezer stocked with the right foods. Try to be open-minded about trying new food items, trying new fruits, new vegetables, new cooking methods, and learning new skills. Set some goals around your desired changes so you have a benchmark and a way to measure your success. And finally, start soon and start somewhere. Thanks so much for joining me for this presentation. Good luck to you on your health and wellness journey, and please let me know if you have any questions.